Rescuers carefully approaching a potentially violent pit bull aren't ready for her next move. Bunny the pit bull was abandoned by her owners, stranded in a remote area of Los Angeles County. Understandably terrified of humans after having suffered untold abuse and neglect, she lived there alone until an animal rescue group was alerted to her dire situation. Unfortunately, that meant that Bunny was too scared to approach her would-be rescuers. Without their help, though, she'd surely struggle to survive. The streets were no place for a dog. What happened next was nothing short of a miracle. When the rescue organization Hope for Paws learned about a pit bull named Bunny who was abandoned by her owners, they knew they needed to act quick to help her. After all, the outdoors are no place for a domesticated animal, let alone a poor dog. Hope for Paws' founder, Eldad Hagar, received a call from someone who was concerned about the dog, whom they saw hanging around a deserted lot in Los Angeles. Once Eldad's team confirmed the location, they rushed in to save her. It became clear that this dog hadn't simply gotten loose from the yard. She was abandoned miles from any civilization. She was dumped in such a remote area, in fact, that whoever abandoned her certainly didn't want her to find a way back. Suddenly, one of the members of the team spotted Bunny on the other side of a chain-link fence they were driving past. The dog immediately noticed the vehicle, but she kept her distance. Unfortunately, the land that Bunny roamed was government property. Eldad and his team would be trespassing if they stepped foot on it. They would need Bunny to come to them if they wanted to save her. Eldad had an idea, but would it work? The team happened to have a cheeseburger in the car with them. They figured if they placed the cheeseburger near her and backed off a little, she'd be comfortable enough to leave the enclosure and go for the burger. At first, the plan seemed to work. Bunny ate the burger. Then she eyed the rescuers suspiciously. Even though she was clearly hungry, it didn't seem like she was ready to get close to the team just yet. Instead, she cautiously watched them from across the gravel road. The rescuers tried to gently coax Bunny into their car. The dog lowered her head and slowly made her way towards them. Soon, she'd almost be close enough that they could put a leash around her neck. But when she was just a few feet away, it seemed as if her nerves had taken over. Suddenly, Bunny got cold feet and she retreated back to the other side. They'd been so close. Bunny continued to stare intently at her rescuers. They weren't going to leave until she was safely in their care, but if their mission was to be a success, they'd have to think of a different plan. It was time for the big guns, so to speak. The team pulled a large cage from the back of their truck and placed it as close to Bunny as possible. They put more food inside and hoped the dog would take the bait. Then, the team quietly waited. Much to their relief, it worked. It took a few minutes for Bunny to fully enter the cage, but the poor dog was so hungry that she didn't seem to realize she was no longer free, in a sense. Once Bunny was completely inside, the door swung shut and the team made their move. Bunny was frightened at first. She had no idea what was happening. However, the team quickly tried to calm her down. Bunny watched nervously as two rescuers approached the cage. They made sure to walk slowly. This dog had been through enough stress and they wanted her to know they were there to offer help, not harm. Bunny spent a few minutes sniffing her rescuers' hands through the bars of the cage. They needed to get her comfortable with them before they placed her in yet another brand new setting, the back of their vehicle. Once Bunny seemed at ease, the rescuers carefully lifted the cage into their vehicle so they could transport her to the local animal shelter. She'd need to receive medical treatment as soon as possible. Bunny seemed calm, but she was still a bit hesitant. Without knowing her history, the rescuers knew that she could pose a danger as soon as they let her out. However, when they arrived at the shelter and opened the cage, Bunny was as docile and curious as could be. The rescuers gently placed a leash around her neck and slowly led her around the shelter, allowing her to explore all her new surroundings. She'd spent so much time by herself in the hot sun, and now she was finally in a place that welcomed her with open arms. It only took a few minutes before Bunny buried her head into the lap of one of the rescuers. Who knew how long it had been since she felt so much love and affection? The rescuers could feel the immense relief emanating from her. It was a good thing that Eldad and his crew were able to reach Bunny in time. Since she was on a private government land, the team lucked out that she was standing in plain sight. You can watch Bunny's entire rescue in the description below. All Bunny the Pitbull ever wanted was to be loved. Thank goodness for people like the team at Hope for Paws.